Yes, mate, how's it going? My name's Lee. So in today's video, we'll be doing a quick review of my Game Week 7 team. See what went well, see what didn't go too well. But please subscribe to the channel down below. Anyway, let's rock and roll. Right, mate, so first up, I got 57 points this week. My rank's gone up to about 3.4 mil. Got a team value of 99.8 and I still got 1 point left in the bank. With my wildcard this week, I'm relatively happy with it. It's gone okay. Like, I wish I could have done a couple of things differently, but it allowed me to get rid of the struggling Man United assets. It allowed me to kind of shuffle some money around to get Salah in. Like, I obviously made a couple of bad decisions. As you can see, I've got Darwin in my team. Watkins was obviously the play. Watkins never really kind of entered my thought process. It was between Alvarez, Darwin, and Callum Wilson. I obviously went Darwin, but Liverpool still got good fixtures coming up, and with the couple of red cards that they got, I think Darwin's going to start the next few, so still relatively confident of that Darwin pick. Even though we didn't play at all this week, but I just think the VAR decisions kind of interrupted the game, and I think if it would have been 11v11, I think Darwin would have come on at some point and had some effect on the game. But as an overall team, so Ariola, this is my first clean sheet points of the season. Ariola with a nice 6 points. I'll take that all day long. He's 4.2 million goalkeeper, absolute bargain. I've got 4 million goalkeeper turning on the bench. Great little duo. I think Ariola might be a set and forget for the season. Keep him in, just let him do his thing for the full season, to be honest with you. I have no real kind of concerns to take him out anytime soon, so if that's the case, I may as well just leave him in. Botman in defence, injured, didn't play at all, so I've got Matty Cash on the bench who's going to come in for those 6 points. Same again, take that all day long. I made a last minute decision to take Udogie down to Kabore and have Matty Cash instead. I wish I'd kind of gone Udogie as well, because that was my original plan, but I kind of wanted a bit more money in the bank to kind of manoeuvre a few things around. That's the reason why I went kind of down that route instead. I started Charlie Taylor, he got no points. He still got Luton. So also, I would ideally like just a boring 0-0 and Charlie Taylor and Kabore get clean sheet points, but I don't think it's going to be the case. I think it's going to be a 1-1. Got 1-1 written all over it, in my opinion. But Charlie Taylor is a 3.9 million defender. I still like him as a pick. They've still got decent fixtures between now and kind of the next 3 or 4 game weeks. So he might even come in at some points and play the odd game here and there. And obviously we've got the absolute beast that is Kieran Trippier. Trippier with a 12-pointer. Take it all day long, that, mate. Like, this is the reason why Trippier was the pick, and this is the reason why Trippier was the play. If I was going to wildcard, Trippier was never not going to be in that team. He was always 100% nailed in that team. People wildcard this week, I just don't see why you would not get Kieran Trippier. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. They've got great fixtures from now up to about game week 18 or so, so he's just going to play every single week until now and then. And what I'm trying to do is try and get my team sorted, so maybe 8-9 of the players, I just leave them in, set and forget, and kind of tinker around with the odd player here and there. So my third Newcastle player was Anthony Gordon. He actually got his 5th booking of the season, so he's suspended for the next game week up against West Ham. I kind of just going in, but it was about 15 minutes before the deadline, and I didn't want to start messing around with my drafts. I'd made a lot of drafts, and Anthony Gordon was kind of mostly in them. I could have made him. I maybe moved some things around. I could have done Jared Bowen down to James Ward-Prowse, which would have allowed me more money to go Gordon up to Maddison. I didn't really like it though. I thought Maddison was the better pick, and West Ham have got good fixtures for the next 6 or 7. To be honest with you, like he's going to be in there for the foreseeable future. So, like, I quite liked the Jared Bowen pick in particular, and it obviously paid off because he scored the goal. But Anthony Gordon, 5.6 million midfielder, still like him as a pick, and now he's got his suspension out the way. After the West Ham game, they've got a run of maybe 3 or 4 games. That's actually quite nice for Newcastle. And if he starts, I think he'll be heavily involved. So, got no issues with Gordon or Jared Bowen in this team. Next up, we had the Heung-min Son 7-pointer against Liverpool. Probably could have had a little bit more, to be honest with you, but he's just a great pick. He's an absolute machine. Like, I'm glad I opted for Son over Maddison. That was a bit of a 50-50 for me, but I'm glad I opted for Son. And they've still got great games for the next few. They've obviously got Luton coming up as well. So, like it's one of those where if you haven't got Son or Maddison, then you've got to try and find a way out how to get them in. Diaby, 8 points. He had a really good game. He got 2 assists. Like, he obviously went off injured, and some of the caveats involved with these players is, and some of the potential transfers that I might talk about, is just wait for the Champions League to come around and just wait for the European competitions to come around before you actually start making any decisions. If Botman plays midweek, then we obviously know he's fit. If Diaby plays midweek, like, we obviously know he's fit, so there's no point making any transfer plans if that's going to be the case. But I am going to go through a couple of transfers, particularly looking at Botman and maybe looking at Diaby as well, of things I could do if we did get any news coming out, and I might have to transfer those players out because I've obviously got Gordon, who's suspended, and if Botman and Diaby are both injured, I'm relying on my bench, and as you can see, my bench isn't that strong. Cash is going to come in for Taylor anyway, so my bench would be Taylor, Kabore and Archer. Don't mind playing Archer because they're playing Fulham, but the other two, I'm not that convinced, so there might have to be a transfer involved in there somewhere, but not really sure which way to go. Both Salah with 1 point, I don't mind so much. It's one of those where if the red cards don't happen, Salah might get involved somehow. Really glad he's in my team. I'm really happy he's in my team. I caught a couple price rises as well with him, so really happy with that. I think it was the right time for me to wildcard. I don't regret it. Sometimes I wildcard. I think maybe I could have waited a couple of weeks, but as I was talking about it last week, United still struggling. We still don't look right. Rashford still doesn't look right over on that left wing. Things just aren't clicking properly. So still glad that I wildcarded, and I still think it's the right decision for me. Like I said before, down with the 0 pointer. One of them, I think if it stays 11v11, he comes on and plays a part. Anyone that talks about the red cards is just biased Liverpool fans. It's such a blatant red card by Curtis Jones. Like, I don't care if they say his foot rolled over the ball and it's an accident or whatever. 99% of fouls on that have an accident. Like, no one means to give away a penalty. He's just lucky he didn't break the guy's leg. Like, he was nasty. Very out of control and reckless challenge. Like, if you watch the challenge, like, he actually puts his full weight onto Basuma's leg. Like, he's just lucky he didn't break his leg. I think it's a really nasty challenge, and I saw Liverpool appealed it today, which is absolutely baffling. He goes into the challenge, turns his foot side on, and plants his full weight onto that person's shin. Mate, you've got to be really careful there. And people will say accident or whatever. Nah, I think that's a really nasty challenge, and they'll be very, very lucky to get away with an appeal for that. And the only reason why they might get away with it is because of the whole kind of VAR fiasco with them and Spurs and the disallowed goals and stuff. But red card all day long, absolutely shocking challenge. Haaland with a 2-pointer. Didn't see that coming, did we? He is a very serious transfer out for me in the next couple of weeks. And I won't go through it right now. I'll make another video kind of looking at long-term transfer plans. But Haaland out in the next couple of weeks, which would allow me to get Saka in midfield, Haaland down somebody like a Watkins or something like that, is a real possibility for me. My rank's around 3 million. I need to do something different. There's no point me sticking with a pack and making the same decisions as everybody else. I need to do something a little bit different. It's the reason why I went for the likes of Anthony Gordon and Darwin. Just try and mix things up a little bit. So that might be one for me right there, and not sure if it's the right move or the wrong move. If you think it's the wrong move, leave a comment down below. Tell me the reasons why. Is transferring Haaland out a viable strategy over the next few weeks? I will bring him back. They've got a great run from about game week 15 onwards, so it would be a very short-term move of about 5 weeks. But I am seriously considering the Haaland out transfer. So now we're just going to look through a couple of replacements for Botman and just see which way we could go with the funds. So the first potential transfer that I could do, I've only got one free transfer in the bank. If Botman is injured, I could potentially go to Pedro Porro. I think is the best Spurs defender. And at 0.3 million more, at 5 million, I think is a great option. Spurs still got good fixtures moving forward. And I do think it would be a very solid pick. Or I could go to someone like a Joachim Anderson. Anderson has got very good short-term fixtures. They've got Forest this week. Then they've got a bit of a tougher run coming up. This is a bit more of a reactionary move because obviously Anderson is now the top scoring defender. Scored on the weekend against Man United. Scored and kept a clean sheet. Massive 15-pointer. I think that's a very reactionary move. I think Porro is probably the play with Luton coming up, and they've got a couple of nice games after that. He is only 0.3 million more. Or if Botman was confirmed fit, I could maybe take someone like a Kabore or a Charlie Taylor up to either one of these defenders, which is something I'm also thinking about. But if it was Botman specifically, and if it was a longer term injury, I would go someone like a Porro. If it's maybe he's only going to be injured for the next week, I'd probably just wait that out and just kind of see how it goes. Like, I don't think that's particularly worth a transfer wasted on someone like a Pedro Porro when I'm probably going to want Botman back or a third Newcastle player in my team anyway. So If Botman's out long term, go to Porro. If not, probably keep him in, and then I might go Kabore up to Porro. Not sure. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you think it's a good decision or not. So my other transfer idea, and this is the exact same as Botman. It only depends if Diaby's going to be out for a longer period than 2 or 3 weeks. I could go up to James Maddison at 7.9 million, which is 1.3 million more. It is something I could do. And if Diaby and Botman was both out, I could still do Botman and Diaby to Maddison and Porro. Take that -4. I know it's not ideal after just wildcarding, but it allows me to get 11 good players onto the pitch. And I expect someone like Maddison and particularly Porro to feast against a very, very poor Luton side, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be too concerned about taking that -4, but it's not something that I really want to do. So I am hoping we are going to get some news coming out from the European fixtures midweek from the likes of Diaby and Aston Villa and Botman, and just kind of see which way to go. I'd probably like to make a transfer now and then go 2 transfers into game week 10 as opposed to anything else. But there is always an option of rolling, but I think I might need to make a transfer with these with all these potential injury news. Right, mates, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. So today went through my game week 7 review, looked at things that went well, things that didn't go too well, and then looked at a different couple of possible transfer scenarios, looking at who we can take out Botman for, or who we can replace Diaby with, and just see kind of which way we want to take our team forward. The injury news isn't ideal, and I don't really want to be taking hits this early after playing my wild card, but sometimes it's needs must, and hopefully we get some news kind of coming out, and the European fixtures give us some more information to go off. But if you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, all the usual jazz. Have a good day. Peace and love.